Good morning, church, again. All right, so for those of you who don't know my name is Heaven. And like I said, today, you can call me Mr. Money, and I'm going to be taking you on this ride. So we have heard so much from my pastor. I mean, he has said wonderful things. And everyone here, you would agree with me that our financial decision shape our future. Today, what we are talking about here, financial intelligence, is not just about luxury, but about necessity. I mean, this program was put together so that it can help someone to make informed financial decisions and build foundation of wealth that lasts. So we're still going to be exploring more strategies from our panelists. We're going to still explore mindsets, principles that can help an individual or a business owner here to navigate the complex financial landscape with confidence. Please, a round of applause for me now. You people have not clapped for me. What's going on? All this English I spoke, nothing. Okay, I'm waiting for somebody after service. All right, sir. So, before I would go to the ladies first. Jumbai. So, did I pronounce the name well? Jumbai. All right. So, please, I need you to just do justice to this question for me. Somebody asked this question, and he says, for someone with limited funds but eager to start investing, what are the 2-3 realistic options they can explore today? What are the realistic options, like a practical options? In 2 minutes, ma. In 2 minutes.
Thank you. Okay, good morning. So I would say mutual funds. You can start with mutual funds. There is the fixed income mutual funds. There is the money market. There is the equity. So it depends on your risk appetite. If you have high risk, you can go into equity. But if you do not and do not want to lose your principal, like he said, you can do money market and fixed income mutual funds.
All right, thank you. A round of applause for that. Thank you. Mr. Golden, I'm coming to you right now. What are the most practical first steps of an entrepreneur? Or what are the most practical first steps an entrepreneur can take to grow their business when they have little or no money? Remember, you talked about how you invested across board. Show us your game. Thank you.
Okay, praise God. All right, so I would like to answer the question, and I'm happy that I've been an entrepreneur before. And the first steps is you must be able to understand the analysis of your business. By God's grace, I've run an online food restaurant before, you get. And like Biodun had said, one thing you must understand is the fact you're an entrepreneur does not mean that you're not a 9-to-5. When I used to do my food business, I always wake up by 5 to prep the stuff I wanted to cook for my clients. And at the end of business day, I knew what was delivery. I knew the cost of tomatoes, the peppers, everything. I factored that into. Then I knew what my profit was. So the first step is you must analyze your own business. Don't think that, the idea because you're an entrepreneur, it means that every money you get is profit. No. If you're a videographer here, you're going to have to buy camera. Do you get? So the first step for me, for an entrepreneur, is to first of all see your business like a 9-to-5. Have an analysis of how much you put in, the cost of things, your expenses. So in business, there are two things. There's what we call the OPEX, and there's what we call the CAPEX. So the operating expenditures and your capital expenditures. So you must be able to realize, what am I putting into this business? What am I getting out of this business? How am I distributing what I'm getting out? This thing I'm getting out, you are dividing it into two. First part, you're putting it back into the business. The second part, you're taking it to save. So you see that part you are taking to save. A lot of us, I'm glad I'm still a youth, so do not deceive yourself That's one thing I tell myself. The only person that can tell his or herself the truth is yourself. So you know what your gains are. You know what your losses are. And you can't be in business and you're saying, no matter how the economy is, if as little as 2K, if this is what I'm gaining, like she said, I'm dropping it into money market fund. If it's this, I'm buying this. So first step is know the analysis of your business, what is going in, what is coming out, what is for you, and what is for your business. Thank you.
Hello. Oh, spot on. Thank you so much. That was brilliant. All right, to my pastor. Pastor, you said a lot of things. You understand? So, but these questions are actually questions from the audience. And that's why we're asking you real-time questions from people. And so somebody here said, is Treasury bill or Treasury bills investment an advisable investment plan for an entrepreneur who is making a 200K profit a month?
Okay, thank you very much. Now, so the way Treasury bills work is that they are government instruments. So it's like government is borrowing from you, basically. You're lending government money, so it is pretty secure. It's a safe and secure instrument. Now, so for that entrepreneur that makes 200,000 profit monthly, now, so the entry point for tree builds, of course, with 200K, you're not likely to be able to buy, tree builds, except I know a number of platforms try to pool funds together, but you can't buy directly because of that amount. The minimum amount is about 50 million plus 1 naira, so for example, plus 1,000 naira. So you really cannot do a main lot, yourself directly. However, there are options in which you can, pool funds together and all that. Just do your research, find out one of these platforms for that, and let me also say this, because for another entrepreneur is thinking, all the returns they're talking about, 20% per annum, if I put that money in my business, I'm going to make a lot than that. And I totally agree with you. But the principle is for you to also diversify. How are you getting it now? So as you make the money, yes, plow back into your business, but don't plow everything back. Don't plow everything back. Try to have different portfolios like that. So you have your business, which is your primary source of income, but make sure you diversify. If you try to study businessmen around, you notice that the guys that have really done fantastically well are people that have been able to spread into other industries, other portfolios. But if you keep planning everything into the same business, one government policy, like I mentioned earlier, can just turn things around and and all of that. So that's why we need to be very important to spread it across board. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for that. All right, so I'm coming back to you, Sarah, please. I need you to answer this for someone. He says, can you elaborate a little more about market mutual funds, the percentage and all that is attached to it?
Okay. I think he did justice to that during his presentation earlier. For market funds, money market funds, mutual funds, basically, they are investments of everybody put together, put into different instruments. So they are put into commercial papers, treasury bills, which have different rates. So when you're investing in funds, we usually tell you that there is no interest rate. We can give you a range of the yield. We can tell you, like, you could do 16 to certain percent, but there is no interest rates because it's not fixed income. So the rates move. We invest in different things with different rates, right? So for one thing that is assured is your capital preservation, and you will definitely earn interest. We cannot just give you a rate. I do not like to give a rate because interest rates move, right? Commercial papers, a company can come out today with 23%, another person can come out tomorrow with 25%. Those funds buy those commercial papers. So we do not exactly tell you there's an interest rate on funds. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that. All right. Coming back to you, Mr. Golden. So, in a case where stock market, since you talked about you buying shares, it seems like the questions I'm asking you is... So, in a case where stock market crashes, What is going to be the fate of the investor?
So in the case stock market crashed,
Yeah.
okay, it crashed one time, 2008. Yeah, and all of us here are still alive. So I'm happy that I used that illustration as getting bonds. So like Biodun had said earlier, there's what we call ETF, exchange traded funds, which allows you to invest in stocks in conglomerates. So basically, we have like 4 exchange traded funds in Vertiva. So we have the funds that target consumer goods, that is the likes of Presco, what you basically eat. We have the banking stocks that captures the UBA, the GTB banks, and the likes. We have the industrial stocks, that is the J. Beggar and the likes. So the essence is when you come into the market, so when you say stock market crash, that means it's a general thing. Do you get? But one thing is you must always, like they say, you must know what you are getting into. Do you get? Before you decide what exactly you're putting your money. Biodun exactly said it here. It is high risk, high return. So you should prepare for, in the adventure, anything happens. So you don't come back to me and say, but I told you, I did not tell you. So basically what I'm telling you here is decide. It's high risk, high return. Anything can happen, but we don't pray for anything. So while you are investing in individual stocks, have it in mind that there's also the exchange traded funds you can also invest. They both are profitable because the same way banks pay dividends, the exchange traded funds too, dividends are also paid for that funds, you get. So that's one thing I would say. So in the event your market goes bad or anything, the simple answer is you know what you are going into. And like the answer to that is diversification. Do not just invest all your eggs in stock. I have a client, he has stocks. He built his stock portfolio since August till now, worth over 31 million. And now he's in profit of 46 million. He also has mutual funds he built with 20 million naira. And right now, I will give you his number. You can call him and ask him what he has earned. But the point is, if the market crashes today, there's an edge for him, which is the mutual funds. So always have the mindset, do not put your money in just one place.
Thank you so much for that. A round of applause, please. Do not put all your eggs in one basket. Okay, Pastor, please, I need you to guide this person. This person says, as a fashion designer, so far I have saved up 30 million naira. I am planning on building my own fashion house. Do you think this is a proper step to take?
I would say that I think you have done very, very well to have been able to save this amount up, and it speaks a lot to, your determination. But let me also say this, maybe for somebody here, you see, there's a difference between a skill and running a business. So for example, you can be a good caterer, but you might not be able to run a good restaurant. We try to mistake it. I've done that mistake before, whereby, you think because I know how to cook, I can run a successful restaurant. No. The business of restaurant is different. There you now need to talk about how you engage, the advertisement guys, government agencies are coming after you, staffing. It's complex, basically. So I'm going to say that to the lady who is in the fashion business. You have done well, doing that. But you see, in establishing a fashion house, more is required beyond knowing how to cut and sew very fine clothes. That is now a full-fledged business. And you need to now, I will advise that you, on your skills, might want to go for, a business, a proper business session. Just register for a proper business session. It can be online, it can be with LBS or something. You need that fortification, basically. Talking about how to run structures, build systems, and all of that. Don't please take it for granted. And of course, prayerfully, go ahead and all. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for that. Please, a round of applause for my pastor. Thank you, sir. All right, so let me come back to you, Golden. for entrepreneurs in the house, how important is it to understand the financial side of the business, just like Pastor just said now? I mean, how can they ensure that they have a profitable business, but also an investment worthy, like one that is worthy?
Okay, so I think I gave an insight earlier. Yeah. Um, before I started with Vertiva, I used to be a data analyst. And one of the tools a data analyst must know how to use is Excel. Yeah. And by the use of Excel, I was able to know, like I said, monitor what every blessed time I went to the market, I knew what exactly I bought. Do you get? And that same period, I knew how much. My delivery guy was a big man because I already positioned, this is the amount. So I had sheets where this is market expenses. This is what I spent on delivery, or this is what I've spent on delivery. I had a sheet that captured, the foods, category of food I sold. Do you understand? To help me monitor which one was the best selling, which one was the least selling. Do you get? So basically the summary is I monitored it was just only me. I was the one cooking. I was the one taking records. I was the one washing plates and cleaning up the kitchen. Do you get? So it was just only me. And if I can do it, I believe you also can do it. So the basic idea is tell yourself the truth. It's a business you want to make profit. So do not be lackadaisical about it. Everything you buy, take note of it. Don't be like, it's just Maggi, it's just salt. 200 naira is the profit you can gain in 2 months if you most likely 5 months if you put 5,000 naira in VMMF. So that's 200 naira cost of salt. And if you can use salt for 5 months, that means you can save 5K. So the point is, have a tool where you monitor your business. And like I earlier said, know what you are putting back into your business and what you want to enjoy. And in quote, that enjoyment, investment is in bracket. So you know what you are putting back. And like Biodun said, endeavor to be expose yourself to financial literacy. Do you understand? Before I joined Vertiva, I was not aware of most of the things I know now. And now, I can tell a story with the things I've known now that it has worked for me. So it's working for people. Rich men or wealthy people you see in the streets today, in everywhere, it's not juju. They have the information. They bring their money to things that work for them. Biodun said it in his presentation. I turn things around because of information. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was brilliant. Please, a round of applause. That was so brilliant. All right, Sarah, please, I need you to take this. It says, for those of us thinking about investing at compound interests for the next 30 years, would you recommend some of these digital savings like piggy vests and the likes?
I believe you can do that. That is recommendable. You could also do mutual funds yet again, because when you put in your money in mutual funds, if you do not withdraw your money at the end of the year, your principal plus interest is reinvested back into the mutual fund, and then you earn interest on that, and that is compounding over the years. I also want to believe that the digital platforms, if the digital platforms that do investments, they should do that. I'm not 100% sure because I don't really know about them. But I want to believe if they do that, then that's compounding interest. Otherwise, you want to consider doing mutual funds. I don't know if my senior colleague wants to speak more to that.
Okay, Pastor, please.
No, I think you've said it well. Of course, now we have a number of them out there. You need to do your finance. I will still say that again. This is your sweat. And that is why we can't just afford to gamble and put it anywhere. So do your finance, be sure of that platform, that it's reliable, check them, how long have they been around, the track record, who are the guys behind it, and all of that. Just make sure that you do your finance and be asked questions. Like she said, they need to, if your compound interest works when the interest is plowed back. So be sure that it's going to be plowed back. For some of these products, they are designed such that the interest is paid to your account. But if what you want is compound interest, so you don't want that option of the money coming to your bank account, you give them that instruction of it being plowed plowed back, with the principal accordingly.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So this question is for you. It says, if you could give one piece of advice to someone who wants to build generational wealth through their business, what would it be? One piece of advice for a business owner here who wants to build generational wealth, what would it be?
Okay, I think to build generational wealth, I will advise that you have a long-term plan. Have a long-term plan, because we're talking about generational wealth, so you want something that will go beyond you. Have a long-term plan. Sometimes we don't plan for the long term. Basically, it's not enough to just begin to live for now. Set a 5-year goal, 10-year goal. We're all part of Elevation Church, but Elevation Church is a church where is given to so much of planning and all of that. Pastor will confirm that to us. Basically, every November, December, we're in planning sessions, planning, for the next 5 years, planning for the next 1 year, And a time in my life, I just looked at it. I'm in a church where planning is taken seriously. In my workplace too, we are planning 10-year strategic plan, 5-year strategic plan, and I will not now plan my own life. I'm obviously doing myself wrong, so we just don't live just for now. We begin to look at, so what's going to happen 2030? 2030 looks far, but it's just 5 years away. We need to have it on paper and not just having it in our heads. There has to be a plan in which we are prayerfully, working towards. Basically, so for that person, generational wealth, I think it starts with that place of planning, strategy, biro on paper, and put it there prayerfully and begin to navigate your walk, your path towards it.
Praise the Lord. Thank you, sir, for that. All right, Mr. Golden, I want you to take this. And he says, what would you advise someone who is just starting out a business? They're just starting out a business idea, but doesn't have a lot of capital to invest. The person is just starting a business, but doesn't have so much to invest. What would you advise such person? So, capital. What would you advise someone who is just starting out a business? Who's just starting out a business? Who's starting out with a business idea? Do you understand? But doesn't have a lot of capital to invest.
Okay, so I feel most times the first thing that comes to people's head is to borrow. And one thing is borrowing can be good if the money you are borrowing is put to good use. So I'm just going to say two things. The first thing is men are God's channel of blessing men. Men are God's channel of blessing men. And I'm saying that is, I have an idea. So, but I know that someone else has this money. And it's not a thing whereby because the scripture says that the hearts of kings are in the palm of God and you go and pray someone's money into your hand. No, it won't work. So I'm saying it is, build yourself to the point whereby beyond your idea, you have a network of people that you can speak to. You can know who you can speak to raise capital. That idea you think will make you billions, it must start from someone. You need someone's money. So it's good to have an idea. It's another thing to grow your network. And the essence of not borrowing is for the purpose of accountability. It's one thing. Some people here is you cannot, how do I put it? You cannot excel beyond the measure of faith you have believed. Some people in their head, if I send 1 billion to their account now, believe you me, they are not thinking investment. That's the truth. They are not thinking investment. And the first thing that comes to your head when such money comes is how to solve problems. How to solve your own problems and not how to be a solution to a problem. So that already is a debt. The fact you are thinking just about yourself with 1 billion. So I'm saying it, if you have an idea, speak to people. I'm happy that Biodun has said it here. Elevation Church is a church that plans. And in that planning, there are big men. Do you understand? Biodun is one of them, by God's grace. And it's a good thing you can go there and just like, Sir Biodun, I have this idea. He might not have the money, but because of the network exposed to his reach, Babami, I have this guy. I think this idea has gone through visibility. It's something we can kickstart with something little. Where did the capital come from? God's men, which is his channel of blessing other men. So do not be scared that, they can be a Zazu here. They want to reap me. There can be that part. Let's tell ourselves the truth. You understand? But the truth is, the capital you are looking for is a man. Cite that man. Not everybody is out there to scam you. Do you understand? The story I gave, Isaac dug a well, he prospered. They chased him. He dug another well. So where came that idea that will bet millions? If they steal it, another one will come. You get? So, but the point is, do not borrow because you want to start a business. Look for men. Men are the greatest capital you can ever find.
Oh, a round of applause for him. Wow.
Can I add something? Just one word. You see, then, in addition, start with what you have. I get my point now. Start with what you have, basically. Start with what, there's something you have. Start with what you have. You don't have to start very big. There's something called scaling. So you start and you scale it. Basically, scale. But, you're waiting for 100 million. It might not come like that. Start with what you have. What you have, scale it. Yes.
Please, a round of applause, please. A round of applause. All right, so this takes me back to the way I asked us to greet ourselves. Did you hear what he said? Men. I told you to look at somebody. PK was not on seat then, so he's here now. I'm looking at him. Please look at somebody again. Look at somebody beside you. Just look at someone beside you. Tell them, you look like the money I'm looking for. PK, you look like the money I'm looking for. You were not here. I was calling your name. You look like the money I'm looking for. Tell them that. You look like the money I'm looking for. This speaks to what I said. Please, a round of applause for me. All right, so I want to take questions from the audience. Do I have someone, anyone? Questions? Sorry, please, somebody should help me. So, I'll just give. Sorry. Mommy first. I want to grow.
Good afternoon.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Please, I want to ask this question. You are talking of stocks. We are talking of investment and dividends. Okay, I have a lot of stocks with Zenith Bank, millions there. And that was about 5 years ago when I was with Julius Berger. My husband also was with Julius Berger. Is it 5 years or about 10 years? Roughly about 10 years, both of us. I was a contractor there, my husband is a worker there. The way they came with this stock, because me, I'm a businesswoman, doing supply with Julius Berger there. I bought stocks of millions with Zenith Bank. So after some few years, I really needed money for something. And I look around, there was no money. Even going for loan, I could not get a loan. So I remember those my millions with Zenith Bank. I have to go to Zenith registrar at VI. They could not give me, out of those millions, I was even looking for, okay, just give me 5 million as of 5 years ago. Just give me 5 million from, they check it, they saw everything. Yes, the money is there, the investment, the stock I bought is there. I cried in that office that day. I said, just give me 5 million out of these, my millions that I invested there. They could not give to me. They referred me to a broker. I went to a broker. Broker was now telling me that out of more than 10 million, as of 5 years ago, that he's going to take 80%. I ran away, and I'm telling you, the dividend that any bank gives me, some few days ago, I told my husband, I said, there's any bank I brought dividend. I told him the amount. My husband just shake it. Till today, the dividend that any banks give to me, what my children give me for monthly feeding money, the dividend is not total. My millions are with them. Dividend that come is zero. That is number one. Their pension, My husband also worked with Schlossberger for some good number of years, more than 25 years. And as at that time also that we were looking for money, I followed him to the pension office, to Arms Pension. That my husband Millions is also here. We needed money.
One house, please. One house, please.
What did the pension told us? We begged also out of my husband's pension. They told us that they could not release a chichi from that pension until death. I was the one who followed my husband. I asked the lady, I said, so you mean that until I become a widow? Number one, my husband has been working with that company even before he married me. I don't know who is the next of kin to that is money. Because we don't have kids there. Now the old children are grown up. So who is the next of kin? Whether it's his brother, whether it's his father that is late, or his elderly woman, his elderly mother. I don't know. So I cried. They told us that, sorry, I said, from who? Tell us, so we can also go and meet the person to give us my husband pension. In fact, we don't want pension again. We need all this money. We need these millions right now. They did not give to us. As I'm standing here, heaven and earth is our weakness. But my husband pension is dead. He's collecting his pension daily, although he's working somewhere else. He's collecting his pension daily from there. I'm also collecting dividend. Maybe anytime they like, they throw the dividend. So since that time, what do we do in such a situation? Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma. Thank you. Thank you for that question. I mean, my pastor was just in the spirit before he asked me to do this. So I don't know who I'm going to throw this question to, because please wait. You people will choose. My pastor. I would have preferred him, but I should point to him. Pastor, they say you. They want to give him extra.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, let me take it from that stockbroker that said they are going to charge 80%. Of course, that is clearly wrong, and that's clear. And if you report them to SEC, they are going to be in very serious issues. It's regulated industry. I know that things were a bit shady in time past, but things have really gotten better in recent times. So we need to talk further on that to know how to get that out. I'm sensing that those shares you bought are still in certificate form. Maybe they've not dematerialized exactly. So there is a process to dematerializing it. I'm making them now. There is a digital platform whereby your shares are warehoused, and that's the CSCS platform. So that is what. So if you have certificates, those papers, you cannot really do a lot with them again. You have to move them from that paper form to the CSCS form. So that's the first process, that should happen. Then it is now from there you can now begin to trade them. Zenith is a good stock. They pay dividend every year. They pay every 6 months, even half year and all of that. So it's a good one. I think you bought a good stock, and I'm sure that that is going to be sorted accordingly. Now, for the pension side, so the pension reform started in 2004, and it was during President Obasanjo. I think it's one of the highlights of the president then, whereby they set up the pension commission, and this is a commission that is also duly regulated today. Before 2004, some companies that had pensions had it with some complaints, pension bodies, but then there was no robust framework. So many of those guys mismanaged the pension, unfortunately. But since 2004, we've seen a lot of structure in that space. Now we have a number of PFUs, I think there are about 16 or 17 of them, and they're also duly regulated. So they can't mess up with your money again. But I'm sensing that this pension must have been it must have activated before 2004. I mean, it started before then. So it would have been with those old guys and all of that. But so for pension today, if you retire, or if you're out of job, today, you can have access to about between 25 and 50% of that savings of yours. Today, you can even use 25% of your RSA, that's the investment in your savings in pension. You can use it to even access mortgages today. It can form part of your equity contribution for mortgages. So there's a whole lot we can do now, with our pension, basically. But for daddy, I think that we might have to talk after now, and let's see how, let's even know the particular PFA and see how we can move towards that.
Thank you so much, sir. A round of applause. That was very good. All right, I'll take just one more. One more. We just need to close out now. Just one question. One question. All right.
Thank you so much for that very animated presentation. My question is actually about debt. So there are two schools of the divide. There are people that believe that no matter what, never you borrow money for anything. And there are people that will tell you that you should borrow money to start a business. What is your advice, knowing the high interest rate of Nigerian banks? And what would be the last resort before you have to resort to taking debt? Thank you so very much.
Mr. Golden, please.
Okay. All right. So there are two types of debt. Yeah. There is the consumer debt and there's the leverage debt. So the consumer debt is you borrowing money because you want to eat. And the leverage debt is you have something and you want to borrow money to achieve something. Let me start with the leverage. So I have an asset worth 1 billion naira with my stocks, with my money market. I'm speaking in terms of yes, I'm an HNI. Yes. So I have 1 billion in money market, in treasury bills, and in stock. Yeah. And I do not have any liquid asset. All I have is asset I might need to sell, and that will take time. So what do I do in that case? I approach these persons or this firm that I have this said money, and I said, I need money for XYZ. There is a percentage they can give you, do you understand, based on your portfolio size. That gives you, so basically what it means is you are borrowing part of your money, but you're obviously going to be paying monthly interest against the money. Do you get? So if you want 1 billion, you have 1 billion, you need 250 million. They will give you the rate. This is how much you'll be paying. Do you understand? Such that at the end of every month, you are paying X amount of money. Upon maturity, you pay back the full money. Or if you cannot, liquidate it from the asset I have. Do you understand? And that reduces your asset. Now, from the consumer loans, you need to first ask yourself, there's nothing stopping you. I mean, if you do not eat, you will die. If you do not eat, you cannot think. Do you get? But you need to ask yourself, like Biodun said, first of all, within. I do not advise people to borrow from all these apps. Do you understand? Thankfully, nobody has called me before and say, blah, 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 your sister, my uncle, my auntie, this, and all of that. So, but the first thing you should ask yourself, who are you borrowing money from? Do you get? And as much as this is a financial literacy, conversation, do you understand? I want to believe we're in the house of God. It's not everybody you do business with. There's some people you borrow money and believe me, your finances will never see the life of it. So you also need to have spiritual discernment from where and who you borrow money from. So regardless of the fact that you need to borrow money, do not lie to yourself. Joseph, Isaac, all the people we discussed, they are accountable people. They were accountable to the word of God. They had people they were accountable to. So when you are borrowing money, do you understand? You borrow money and have an accountability partner, which is not you. So that you know that this money is put into good use and can realize how you can pay it back. Do you get? So if my monthly salary is 500,000 and I'm going to borrow 600,000 and I'm saying I'm going to pay you by month end, that is if Biodun is good enough to borrow me 100,000. But by the time I do that, how will I eat when I give you my May salary? You get? So you must decide yourself. Is there a system to which you can pay this money back? Systems are the only way and the first system is, do you have a job? Do you have a business? And for every money you borrow, you must put in, a corresponding action to the work that will bring back that money to ensure you can pay it back. You can't be an entrepreneur and you want to borrow 500K to buy camera. And you borrow the money, you buy the camera, and from 8 to 4, you are in your house. From 4 to 6, it is now you want to go and snap tree.
It's not done that way. So you must put in a corresponding amount of time to borrow and to pay back that money. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Pastor, please.
To what Golden has said, and I think it's been very profound. You see, we must also not see borrowing as a bad thing. You get to my point now? It's called leverage. It's called leverage. So, for example, you've been renting this machine, and there's a rental value, to that. But if you also buy, you have looked at it, you are going to be able to make some savings, and maybe you will also start renting it out. You're getting my point now? So what does that mean? When you are borrowing, you make sure that you focus more on assets, things that can provide value to your business, that can add value to your business. It's very important. We won't borrow for frivolities, So look at something, and now there's an option to want to save up to buy that asset. So maybe you're going to save up in 12 months, every month to buy that asset. By the 12th month, it is likely that inflation price would have moved. True of us. It is likely that price would have moved, and other things. But if you borrow now, you have bought that asset, you're already using it, and it just makes life, and it's just smarter that way. Are you getting it? But we just need to be very, very disciplined, and all of that. You see, the principle is start with what you have, bootstrap, leverage, begin to grow it. But a time is going to come whereby you know that for you to expand effectively, you need some borrowings. But of course, make sure you check it well. If you look around, there are benefits to borrowing. And that's why we call it good debt and bad debt. You can use it to manage your taxes. You can use it to also, expand effectively. I hope that helps.
All right, please, a round of applause for my panelists. Please, if you know they did justice, can you just appreciate them? Pastor Biodun, Sarah, and Golden. Please, a round of applause for them. A round of applause, please. Celebrate them, please, as they go back to their seats. Celebrate them, please. Celebrate them. Thank you, sirs and ma. All right, so I have something for someone here. If you're planning to start a business this year, can I see your hands up? You're planning to start a business. You have a business plan, or you have started a business. Can I see your hands up? You want someone or something that can help you make informed decisions and all that. I want to see your hands, please. Can somebody help me? Have you started a business? Okay, if you have started a business, let me see you on your feet. You started a business on your feet. And you need something that can still help you more. You started a business. You need something that can help you more. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. I don't think my gift covers everybody. All right. Praise God. Please welcome with me the most handsome,